Thanks for coming in. Look, I don't know what to call you.
Charlie.
It's Charlie. Okay, as far as racing is concerned, Robyn Hamilton is no longer...
She's retired.
Retired?
She's retired from motor racing.
Okay. Why Charlie?
You know Charlie Cosmetics, Revlon's Charlie Cosmetics. I love everything about Charlie. You know, I really love the lovely fresh fragrance. I love the really beautiful colours in the Charlie Cosmetic range, and I just love Charlie.
Now, are you really doing this ad because you're getting paid for it, or are you still trying to hook them as a sponsor?
No, this isn't an ad, truly.
What if the Revlon people don't come to the party and you don't get the sponsorship you need? I mean, do you switch? Do you become, I don't know, Chesty Bond or Coca-Cola? Or...
See, to make Charlie a star, this is the thing, you know, so we've got to make Charlie a star, and in order to do that, we've got to have Charlie in the right sort of vehicle. You know, like, to me, it's a Porsche, a turbo 94 turbo Porsche is what Charlie has to be, and Charlie also has to race against the star drivers, you know, against the Moffats and the Brocks and the Grices.
Could you beat those fellas?
Well, I don't know. I sure would like to see. And it just seems to me that, you know, Australian motor racing has to move with the times. You know, at the moment, we've got all the Porsche cars racing against one another in one series, and all the ordinary cars, you know, like the Commodores and the Falcons racing in another series. Yeah. Now, if we put them all together, and then Australian motor racing could accommodate a Revlon sponsorship. That's the problem.
Or some other sort of sponsorship that you can
do.
You're really stuck on Revlon.
I want Charlie. No, I want Charlie.
Okay, you want
Nothing
Charlie.
else is good enough.
You can have Charlie.
Nothing
You're very determined, aren't you?
Fairly.
In fact, you're determined enough to take on a very difficult job just to support your motor racing habit.
Do you mean working at the factory at night?
Yeah. Well, before I ask you about that, we've taken some film there. Murray Moore went down to the factory, and it does look a very difficult job.
Today, working on the production line in a factory that makes plastic bottles isn't really the most glamorous job in the world. For a start, it's really noisy, and I hope you can hear me because that's just how noisy it is in here. And besides that, there's not much variety to the work. You just watch the plastic bottles come down and go along the line, and then they fall in a box. And besides all that, there's also the hours. To work here, you have to work between 11 at night and 7:30 in the morning. No one's saying it's the worst job in the world, but no one's saying it's the best either.
The same old thing all the time. There's nothing terribly interesting about it. It's just the same plastic bottle coming down at you all the time and breaking the top off or breaking the end off, putting them in boxes, sealing the boxes up.
If you could choose a job, would you choose this one?
Definitely not.
Yes, working through the night for $176 a week, I think it is. That's doing it the hard way.
Well, you know, I just think it's, you know, worth it. But, you know, like working at night, it's not really so bad. You know, it's very relaxing, really. And it gives me...
A lot of people find sleep at night is relaxing.
Yes, well, you know, like, well, I'll tell you the truth. One of my favourite pastimes is daydreaming. You know, I really just love to daydream, and it gives me the perfect opportunity, and it gives me the days free, well, you know, to go swimming or, you know, to do whatever I want to do, to go roller skating or whatever, and to go out to the circuit and practice my driving. And I think it's preferable than being, you know, locked up in some office or in some...
What about your social life?
Well, you know, like that is fairly limited, but, you know, I really want to make a bit of a star of myself, and, you know, I just think it's worth it, that's all.
So what's the motivation to make a star of yourself, and what's the motivation to be a star, particularly in motor racing?
The motivation, it's, you know, I just feel...
When did you stop being ordinary and say, I'm going to do it?
Well, I suppose I was, you know, I started motor racing when I was a university student. I was a third-year arts student in Melbourne, and I was thoroughly, you know, disillusioned and so disappointed, I suppose, in university. I expected much more from it, and it was at that stage that I just took myself out to this racing car driver school, and Frank Gardner, who's a former international driver, and he thought that I was showing a bit of potential, and he said, look, why don't you go motor racing? I said, oh, well, why not? That seemed like a good idea at the time, and that's how I got started. And
do the males try to psych you out, push you off?
Well, I don't think they probably do any more than they do another driver. You know, it's sort of motor racing, and the name of the game is to win. You know, it's come through the checkered flag first. So.
How about your nerves?
Oh, they're under control.
Always in a car?
Better than they are now, on the racetrack.
Well, I'd be very nervous in a racing car at 100 mile an hour.
I'm very nervous now.
What about the nerves when you're in a car and you're approaching a corner and there's a bit of traffic?
Well, believe me, there's much more to think about than your nerves. You just put it out of your system completely and just concentrate on your driving, and they just disappear.
What about the fear of an accident?
Well, I've just made a decision that, sure, that can happen, but I just put it out of my mind. You know, like, it's like in anything in life. You know, you can go through life, you know, being worried about you're going to make a mistake, and that's the short time you're going to make one. So just forget about it and just do what you think's right and see what happens.
Will Charlie make it?
She sure will.
As long as she doesn't take that daydreaming habit into the car.
No, there's no worries about it.
Charlie, thanks for talking with us and good luck.
My pleasure.
Charlie, and I think she will make it.